Hi guys, welcome back to Schauer Thoughts. My name is Sarah Schauer. This is a podcast for left and right brainers, middle brainers, anyone with the cortex, hippocampus, amygdala, striatum, substantia nigra. If you got it, this is a podcast for you. Are humans truly left or right brain in terms of right brain is more associated with creativity. Left brain is more associated with being logical. You use all parts of your brain whenever you really, not all parts simultaneously, but it crosses over. So it's not like pure right or pure left brain. You need both. Yeah. Anyway, so welcome to a more festive episode of Schauer Thoughts because Christmas is coming up, so is the holidays. And I wanted to talk about something a little bit more positive. This is going to be so funny because I initially did have another topic in mind, but realizing when the episodes go out, I want to get out a suggestion for a holiday gift guide. This is more than a holiday gift guide. It's also the science of generosity and what it means, gift giving, the ideal gift to give for each person. Because I think that's a fun angle to approach it from. And I also have, gifts for more nerdy people or people who I say nerdy in a very loving, endearing way, like people who love sciences or math or anyone who loves classic literature. If you have a more, I guess what society would call nerdy hobby, or you just love to learn and create and be immersed in the world and understanding, then I have some gift suggestions for you. They're most of them are highly customizable because, when it comes to the holidays, putting some custom elements into the gift is ideal, right? Because, you could just do it the old-fashioned dad way and go to 7-Eleven on Christmas Eve, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. You could make some pretty crafty things. You know what? I might make a collage with just candy wrappers now. Well, I'd have to clean them, and I don't want to... Anyway, so this is going to be the science of generosity and, the psychology behind gift giving, and then I'm going to go through some gifts that I would suggest and recommend. This is all going to be linked below. It's going to be a lot of links because it's a long list, and I think you guys should have options and stuff. They're more affordable. I think there's only a couple things that are more expensive because, the times are tight. The economy and everything is going to, you understand. So welcome, guys. How was my week? My week was good. I love my book club. I did record an episode on Tuesday that went out Wednesday. It was the third part of the How to Be More Creative series. You guys should check that out. What am I doing this weekend? Well, my Butch Bae and I got us tickets to go rooftop ice skating, and then the next day we're going to go to a candlelight orchestra. The orchestra will be covering Queen. And so in LA, there's this concert series where they just put up hundreds of candles everywhere, and they surround, a pianist or an orchestra or someone, professional musicians, and then they, cover certain bands. And my Butch Bae really loves Queen. I love Queen as well. One of my favorite songs of all time is "Princes of the Universe" by Queen, and they never. I think it was for the movie Highlander, but I don't think Freddie Mercury ever got to perform it because, unfortunately, he did pass away. But yeah, I'm excited to go and ice skate and be out in the world. The holidays are a rough time for me, but it's only because, when you're gay and family stuff. But it's gonna be fine. I have chosen family and friends, and it's just it's an interesting time. So I am a bit emotional. I do apologize. The other topic that I'm going to cover next week, because it is incredibly important, but it's also the holidays are approaching, and what if I put out a gift guide and you guys are like, well, okay, thank you for doing this the day before, so now we are the fathers at 7-Eleven. But the other topic I was going to do is I was reading this issue of Scientific American, and they were talking about 180s in scientific discoveries across a whole bunch of different areas, from neuroscience and then sleep research, which is, neuroscience, and physics and math and all these things. And they were talking about 180s where, previous understanding was just like incorrect. And, through experimentation and discovery, they were like, okay, so we're going to have to rewrite a lot of stuff. This is no longer correct. And in the article, they were all of the people who have done all but one have who discovered something new, who contributed to a 180 in any type of science or math or anything like that. They were all women or people of color. And in the article, they were talking about things that usually upend some longstanding traditions in sciences, which it usually is like the emergence of a new science or some sort of political movement applying pressure. And there was just this. It seemed like they were saying that politics was always it has a more like immediate desperation to it. And I was like, well, let's think about who has historically been excluded from science. And I did a whole outline of the discoveries, and I did an outline corresponding with everything in affirmative action and who's allowed in the actual institution, and just the ongoing sexism in academia. And the thing is when I talk about this stuff, I don't hate the sciences. I absolutely don't. I love them deeply, but they're also incredibly flawed, and so there's nuance. And it was just so devastating. A lot of how many researchers across every single field of study were like, anytime someone who wasn't in their immediate field or someone who just had really, like, they had lived experience in the field, these people were talking about how they literally, I think the term that they used was like low quality input or something like that. It said like low quality. And I was like, quality? Low? And I wanted to be like, how dare you? It's so offensive. Like there was one where they were talking about breast cancer research in the 90s, and there was pressure from advocacy groups and clinicians and radiologists, and they said all three of those people were just like pressuring them, scientists to like for early screenings for mammograms, but all the people who were studying breast cancer were like, no, it's just gonna early screening suggesting this in mass is just going to scare a bunch of women. They're going to be afraid. And like, it's like a whole bunch of unnecessary biopsies. And I was like, well, you know what is actually really scary? Breast cancer. I would rather get a mammogram every year than wait until I may have breast cancer and then get really scared. So it really bugs me when, like women weren't even brought into like to research studies until the 90s. And so these what they're saying is all going like way before the 90s, and they were telling people, radiologists and clinicians and people who have had breast cancer, oh, you're putting too much pressure on this. And then it eventually made its way up to Congress. And I hate when someone makes me agree with the government. Congress literally said to researchers about breast cancer research, how you guys are going about this and talking about this is sexist and dismissive. And do you know how fucking sexist you have to be for Congress to say, hey, dude, you're being sexist? And then you're like, oh, we didn't want women to be afraid. You just didn't care. You didn't care, right? And then there's all these, I'm reading Most Dangerous Poison, and it's, I'm learning about chemistry, guys. And there was another article on, advancements in chemistry and like indigenous research and how indigenous people are being like just completely excluded. Meanwhile, current day, 50% of the medicine and drugs we consume for anything that has to do with healing in America was originally the methods and the understanding. 50% that we currently use today was established by indigenous people. Do you know how I want to be like, how dare you write off so many people and call their contributions low quality, especially when they're in the actual 180 in Scientific American, it is almost all women, right? Saying, hey, dude, it's also women of color, people of color saying this is not right? We have research, we also have experience. And to be like, oh, that's just, let's disregard it. Let's write it off. So I am going to make a full episode on that because I feel like I am going to scream at the top of my lungs. I know this is supposed to be a holiday gift guide, but there is, to me, nothing more generous than sharing information. And because information is power, right? And like people, academics should know, researchers should know, people with like more information that they have access to should know that like this isn't like money. You can't withhold information and think that you're going to get more valuable, right? Your brain is use it or lose it. And you're not sharing it and you just keep going with whatever the hell you're doing. You're losing the basics, right? In this article itself, this Scientific American article, they said, what happens when an entire generation of scientists changes its mind? And this is a really interesting thing. Let me see if I can find this. Okay. This is interesting. So this is about 180s in science and how layman understanding is not quite adequate. Consider the long-standing belief that the universe preserves parity, that the mirror reflection of any physical process is identical to its unmirrored counterpart except for being flipped from left to right. This is obviously true in the world we live in. Shooting one billiard ball at another will have the same effect no matter what direction the cue ball comes from. But matters are less obvious in the quantum realm. So it's true that not every single process just has a reverse process. However, both groups are wrong. Whoever wrote this and the people thinking that everything is just there's a reverse process. So where this guy is wrong, this man writing this, is that mirrors don't flip anything from left to right. Your eyes flip things from left to right. What a mirror flips is back to front. The depth dimension or the Z dimension, right? So it's ironic for him to be talking about a 180, right? And understanding where, the quantum realm is a little bit more complicated, guys. It's not like, and he's talking about, things are like less, he's like, this is obviously true. Well, sir, you know what's obviously true is that mirrors don't flip anything from left to right. And it's like, the quantum realm is just much more complex. Like you wouldn't be able to mirrors are just basic physics. Quantum physics is just the step beyond, right? So you've forgotten the basics. And like I was talking about withholding information, use it or lose it. If you're in physics, if you're in optics, if you're in neuroscience, if you're in anatomy, you know that the eyes are the things that flip things from left to right. Any person so the lack of communication, right? Any person doing a stint at the Magic Castle in Los Angeles could have told this person, mirrors are not flipping things from left to right. And it's the lack of communication, the withholding information, they're just not using it, not checking and being like, I got this because this is my area of study. I don't need another opinion. I don't need diverse opinions for this. And I know that this is supposed to be Christmas themed. Anywho, it's just like we always talk about anti-intellectualism, and it's always coming from the academics. And they're talking about the general population. And it is true that there is a large-scale anti-intellectual movement going on, right, in the gen pop, but also in academia, in research. Because I have read anatomy, neuroscience. I'm now in chemistry. I have read every single type of math there is, physics, right, law, medicine, all this stuff. And anytime someone discovers something new, they're like, okay, we've proposed this theory, we tested it, and then, like, it's repeatable, like it's established proof, like this is now going to correct previous understanding. And then they bring it to people who have been in academia a bit longer, and they're like, oh no, that would have to change like how we do stuff. I'm just going to keep using my understanding of things, and then I'd kind of prefer if we stuck with the status quo. Because, I mean, I don't know why you would do that. It hasn't been working. And so what bugs me is there's this anti-intellectualism in academia as well. Because here's the thing. Your beliefs are no longer supported by evidence, by proof. And so what is the issue with anti-intellectualism and Gen Pop is that a lot of their beliefs are not supported by evidence. So the cognitive dissonance of so many people in academia and higher level education being like, look at all these people, look at you. None of you talk. Interdisciplinary stuff is legit and you disregard it. Most of the math is stats, and stats is great, but stats is rooted in calculus, the fundamental study of change. You guys got into research, and academia because you wanted to change some shit. And it's like, you have to be willing to change and accept change if you want to change something. I don't know, I didn't finish college, and I would love to eventually go back. But and I know that the system beats you down. I know it does. It beats the creativity out of you. But dear God, why even go into it at all? If you're just going to be we're going to stick to the status quo, you should become a nun or a pastor or a priest. You should convert to Christianity because the mentality of, I just want to stick to the status quo, that is their entire belief system. I'm sorry for yelling. It's just so genuinely upsetting. One of the most devastating things I have ever read in any book was last year. It was Undoing Drugs. This woman, her adult son, OD'd, and he died. And what was so devastating about that, besides the fucking obvious, is that her husband at the time was the man who invented Narcan. And when asked about why she didn't tell her son, why, she said, his invention never came up in conversation. And that was it. It never came up. I don't give a fuck about the rest of this interview. She's like, we're divorced now. I don't really blame. I don't care. I've seen women post crazy shit about their husbands online, and they always backpedal. I care that someone died. I care that a man who invented something so life-saving married a woman who had a son with a drug problem, and just simply communicating and sharing what he did at work, sharing information, could have saved someone's life. I'm sorry. When I see someone in STEM shitting on communication majors, comm majors, they don't, it's a useless thing. You need to take a fucking science communication class because the sheer amount of redundancies in information is humiliating. It's because no one can literally integrate anything. Interdisciplinary people are just shit on. Comm people are shit on. The cognitive dissonance is wild. You know what's also another type of intelligence? Emotional intelligence. There are so many studies about the importance of emotional intelligence in leadership. There are so many studies about diversity, equity, inclusion, the importance of diverse opinions to correct understanding, and you just disregard. You don't apply it. How? Anyway, sharing information is beyond, like, just even not just power, connection, understanding is the foundation for every single relationship. Trust, you know? Like, you don't even want to genuinely connect with people? You don't want to help people out? You don't want to see them succeed? Oh, what? Because it could threaten your position? Your position was compromised the second you decided to be fixed in your beliefs and enter into the realm of science. You're not going to last long. The history books won't remember you. I don't know who the fuck you think you are. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I am just like, and oh, speaking of STEM majors shitting on communication majors. You want to talk about cognitive dissonance, circling back to beliefs, right? Oh, but we're not like Christians. Christians, you know, they're basing their understanding off a Bible that's been translated a million times, misinterpreted, mistranslated, right? That does happen in science in the same exact fucking article. There was a long-standing belief about life on Mars due to a mistranslation of an Italian word. And you're like, oh, but it's probably not scientists who believe that. Scientists did believe that. All because of a misinterpretation. One of the main translation issues that happens when you translate between languages is taking everything literally. This is what I was talking about. The importance of creativity and abstraction. Realizing when things are similar, but also noticing when they're dissimilar, right? There are so many languages that are different from English, right? Which is a stress time language. There's also syllable time languages. There's logographic languages. There's different types of understanding. And if you want to actually see where emotion takes over in research, you want to witness it for yourself. Look at any research that has been translated from another language. And you will see that the person who translated also translated the emotional connotations of specific words. And so when you look at research translated from other languages, notice the amount of emotion words that were included, right? And then apply it to yourself and think about how your understanding, your emotions could be getting in the way. When it came to that fucking linguistic research about why they don't use I, me, mine in the fucking sciences, I understand it's informal. But one of the reasons that they gave was it could contribute to narcissism if you taught students if you taught them to use I, me, mine, possessive, like first person in science. It could. Where the fuck was that research on that? Also, in a culture of narcissism, I don't think it'll be. Anywho, this is a culture of narcissism. I'm not saying everyone is diagnostically a narcissist. I'm saying it's more acceptable for people to be narcissists in the culture. We're also in a culture of alcoholism. That doesn't mean that everyone is an alcoholic. It means alcoholism is more acceptable. It's just so genuinely, and the thing is I've already gone off on my tangent, and I still love Scientific American, but just seeing everyone shit on someone else, refusing to communicate. Do you know how many times I've gone across areas of study and someone has shit on someone and they were saying the exact fucking thing? But you saw someone who wasn't like you or didn't have your area of expertise and you thought, no, they have to be wrong. Because it's a common error when it comes to social relevancy, self-relevancy, and our reward system and what we value. We often mistakenly associate what we value with who we are. If you identify as always right or always the victim, or people are always wrong, because if they're wrong and you're always right, everyone else will always be wrong. You don't give yourself the opportunity to change. And especially if you're in research, you're in academia. I'm not saying that that's the only legit area of study, but holy fucking shit, you're killing people. To not want to do preventative screenings for mammograms because it could scare women? Zoom out. You know what scares anyone is cancer. All right. So this is on the science of generosity and gift giving. All of the sources will be linked below. And also just something for you guys. Whenever you say, I trust you, I don't check the sources, that is not, and I mean this so genuinely. Checking the sources and getting an understanding is not just, it's nice that you like me. However, the thing is this is your life. This is your mental health. This is your power, right? Go through the sources and check this shit out for yourself. Because you may like me cool, but if you know the nuances, the details, and some person who thinks they know more than you tries you have information and you have a way to say with conviction is, I actually am going to disagree with you on this. My entire life, I was raised by a fucking doctor and an engineer. When I tell you, they took every opportunity to talk to me like I was stupid. I need you all to know that you are not stupid. Okay. All right. I'm going to cry, but it's the holidays. What can you do? Okay, this is why we give the science of generosity. Okay. An examination of the numbers indicates that people are generous. Americans donated nearly $450 billion in 2019, and an estimated 25% of them volunteered their time to a nonprofit organization in 2017. Are humans inherently kind, or are we fundamentally greedy and only give because we have ulterior motives or expect reciprocity? Why do people donate their money and time? The Greek philosopher Aristotle said, the essence of life is to serve others and do good. Fast forward to modern times, then the debate on whether altruism is an integral part of human nature, written in our genes, or that generosity is a product derived from the civilizing influence of culture and religion in human society. A more definitive answer may come from neuroscience. Recent research provides convincing evidence that biologically we are programmed to be altruistic to a certain degree. To a certain degree, please remember that. There is also an age-old debate in psychology, however, whether humans are purely altruistic or whether we always have something to gain from giving. The argument doesn't hold, considering that people are willing to give their time, money, or in the case of living donors, actual body parts to people they don't know. Yeah. It's just nice to give, you know? And it's like, I mean, just with all this shit going on in the world, everyone is so just, and I understand, right? If you've given and given and given and given and always being taken advantage of, I understand holding back. But the best time to just give is especially when you don't know someone. A compliment in passing, validation online, a resource when someone asks, right? Because it just is nice. Evolutionary science theories on generosity. Evolutionary scientists offer several explanations of possible genetic blueprints for collaboration. They attribute our altruism to humans as a social species that must rely on one another for survival. One general theory as to why Homo sapiens lived while Neanderthals became extinct is that we were the more social species, which increased our chances of finding food, withstanding attacks, and raising children. Also, that's an interesting part of evolution. I know there's like 30,000 years just missing from like a bunch of like evolutionary studies between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. I know that there was crossover, but what happened there? Someone who studies evolution, please give me some insight. There's also a hotly debated idea that evolutionary processes take place at the group level. Groups are highly cooperative individuals have higher groups of highly cooperative individuals have higher chances of survival because they can work together to reach unattainable goals to less cooperative groups, which fits with the Homo sapiens versus Neanderthal scenario. Yes, change does happen at a group level. The thing is like emotions are cultures create emotions, right? And there's I can talk about the evolution of emotions. We have the golden oldies, disgust and fear. Who's the oldest? There, it's like arguing with two siblings who are born like minutes apart. And then you have like the more fuzzy emotions coming with like desire and love and all these things. And love is not an emotion, depending on which culture you're asking. But happiness, right? The ability to move, and so there's like a whole progression, and the cultures created these emotions and like how you react to certain people. So evolutionary processes take place at a group level. And then you also think about like migration patterns of like certain groups, and then how emotions can be different in different cultures. Speaking of which, Spotify Wrapped just came out, and the amount of international people that shared me as their top podcast. I had like a couple people from like Portugal and Brazil and Sweden and Australia, and like I've done podcasts before, and the sheer amount of international folks. Welcome, guys. I'm so happy that you're here. Also, if you're American or I know it's gonna I was gonna say anyway, thank you for being here. The altruistic brain. Contemporary social neuroscience research shows that altruism is associated with a specific pattern of brain activity. These studies indicate that the cerebral cortex, the area of the brain responsible for our most advanced cognitive functions, is involved in altruistic behavior. The cerebral cortex is it's like your brain's atmosphere. It's not really. It's just like the outermost sort of thing. And this is what I was thinking about since I'm learning about chemistry. And I talk all the time about how different emotions have sensory components, and all of them go through the thalamus except smell. And then I was thinking about it, and this I guess is a question for chemists, and I'm talking about in an evolutionary sense. If you responded this with something that was written in the past 200 years, I don't think you're understanding what I'm asking. Okay, so smell bypasses the thalamus. It goes straight to the cortex. And I was wondering, why is that? Is that because the thalamus is the hottest part of the brain and the cortex is the coolest? And with what little I know about chemistry, I know that certain chemicals break apart, especially aromatic chemicals, break apart the closer you get to heat, right? When it comes to like storing perfumes and just like maintaining their longevity, you put it in a cool, place out of the sun or out. And so like it wouldn't make sense for smell to go through the thalamus, because by the time it reaches the thalamus, most of the chemical scent will be like broken apart. And so why would the brain encode a distorted perception of chemical surroundings? That wouldn't be conducive for survival. So that's a theory, guys. I'm asking that to chemists. Could you please look into it? I appreciate you all deeply. So several studies have shown that both giving and receiving money triggers the brain's dopamine-rich reward system. It happens mostly in a region called the striatum, which is the same area that lights up when you eat cake, listen to music, or engage in other satisfying activities. People get an even stronger sense of reward when they witness the positive impact of their gift, much like the joy you feel when you see your loved one's face light up when they unwrap the perfect present. There is evidence that concludes that when humans exhibit gift-giving behaviors, they secrete feel-good chemicals in their brains, such as serotonin, a mood-mediating chemical, dopamine, a feel-good chemical, and oxytocin, compassion and bonding chemical. Studies also show that when people donated to charity, either financially or through volunteering, the mesolimbic system, the portion of the brain responsible for feelings of reward, was triggered. The brain releases feel-good chemicals, spurring you to perform more kind acts, something psychologists call helper's high. I love that. I'm going to get high on helping. There's also a connection between empathy and altruism. The empathy-altruism hypothesis suggests that people are most likely to behave altruistically towards someone if they empathize with their predicament. For example, a woman who has a child might be more inclined to lend a hand to a mother struggling to carry both her toddler and the grocery bags. Various research studies support this hypothesis. One study found that children begin to develop altruistic habits when developing their sense of empathy. And the thing is empathy is a social emotion. It's something you develop between people. Normally, when it comes to perspective taking, or like when you consider what perspective you usually are in, people like if it's more embodied, it's first person, right? The importance of using I, me, mine, but also being able to remove yourself from the situation, see it from different angles. You have like third person perspective. Empathy is going to be more in second person, where it's you and I, And so like to develop empathy, you do need you need solid communication, trust, right? To lay that foundation. It's a two-way reciprocal process. It's not prioritizing one or the other. It's genuine connection with other. And the thing is if you're like, well, I have a hard time empathizing, I completely get that. However, there's also two types of empathy. There's effective empathy, AFF, and then there's cognitive empathy. So if you're like, I understand empathy is a social emotion. So why I say this, because I know a lot of my followers are neurodivergent, or a lot of us have had interesting upbringings. If you're like, well, I'm having a hard time, if you have a hard time feeling, you can develop cognitive empathy. Just think about the situation that other people are in. Take a walk around. Take a lap. So the health benefits of altruism. Studies have linked volunteerism, a popular form of altruism, to happiness, better physical health, and increased mental health. One study followed a group of mothers over 30 years. Over the 3 decades, 52% of the women who rarely or never volunteered experienced a significant illness, while only 36% of women who routinely volunteered experienced a major illness. Give me a study with fellas, and I'd like to see that as well. Okay. In another study, scientists found that older adults who participated in a volunteer organization had lower depression rates, less anxiety, and an increased will to live. Another study found that adults aged 55 and older who consistently volunteered had a 44% decrease in mortality rates. It seems counterintuitive on the surface. Does it? Oh, but one study found that humans are most likely to perform an altruistic deed when in a bad mood. The research concluded that helping others can effectively boost our mood and help us feel better about ourselves and our situation. That found that humans are most likely to perform an altruistic deed when in a bad mood. I guess I could see that sometimes because, like, the thing is it often you need to be in pain to, like, feel other people's pain. I'm not saying that you always got to be in constant pain. But if you're in a pain state and you see someone suffering, it's like, dude, I get it, right? In addition to having access to volumes of scientific data now, an organization such as CharityVest has harnessed technology's power to make it easy for donors to give to charities. Its digital charitable giving platform is simple. So this is an ad at this part. But yeah, you guys can read this as well. And there's also the psychology of gift giving, and I'm going to touch on that before we get into the gifts that I'm suggesting. And you're like, Sarah, gifts are so personal. I know, but I cast my net wide. I looked at everyone's research, not research, the majority of comments that I receive, and we got us a big gaggle of STEM lovers, STEAM lovers, because the arts are incredibly important. Oh my God. So we're going to quickly touch on the psychology behind perfect gift giving. So this is why, and I thought this was cool. It is from a blog, but you can check the resources as well. And again, I would always recommend that. So the psychology behind perfect gift giving, why personalized mystery boxes create stronger emotional connections than traditional gifts. The science of surprise and delight. Here we go. What makes one gift unforgettable while another gets forgotten in the drawer? The answer lies deep in human psychology, where emotions, memories, and personal connections converge to create truly meaningful gift experiences. The neuroscience of gift giving. When we receive a gift, our brains activate multiple neural pathways. So they're going to talk about the striatum. They're going to talk about dopamine. That's a neurotransmitter. Oxytocin, like we just discussed. But here's what's fascinating. Personalized gifts activate additional regions in the brain's reward center. Research from the University of Pennsylvania shows that when gifts demonstrate genuine understanding of the recipient's personality, interests, or needs, they activate the brain's self-referential processing network. This is the same network that activates when we think about ourselves, creating a powerful psychological bond between giver and receiver. So like I was talking about earlier, you can read this in What We Value, the Neuroscience of Choice and Change. There's the self-relevancy network, social relevancy network, and there's the reward. There's like What We Value. And so customizing this gift is someone went out of their way for you, and you see yourself in this gift. And the time, the energy, even just like the money, the thought, the customizing of it, you know, someone's like, oh, you made this more rewarding. Relative to me, it is more rewarding, right? Because you thought of me. I've said this before, but thoughtless means careless. If someone can't even bother to think of you, caring is going to be really hard to maintain or kind of prove. Why mystery boxes work so well. So this is going to be like a sales pitch. This is not sponsored by them, but I do have some mystery boxes for like STEM and also for people who are homeschooled, but also if you're an adult, you can get them as well. So the mystery boxes work so well. The element of surprise isn't just fun. It's neurologically powerful. When we encounter something unexpected but pleasant, our brains release a cocktail of neurochemicals, including dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins. This creates what psychologists call a peak emotional experience. Yes, that is a lot of uppers. Mystery gift boxes tap into this by combining surprise with personalization. Each item revealed creates a micro moment of delight. And when those items clearly demonstrate thought and care, the cumulative emotional impact far exceeds the sum of individual gifts. And so delight is surprise and happiness. And so, you know, you're going to have all the feel-good chemicals coming up, and there's the added bonus of surprise. This is why, I'm not going to get into it. Okay, so this is what I thought everyone would like. The surprise personalization matrix. High surprise plus low personalization equals quick excitement that fades. Low surprise plus high personalization is thoughtful but predictable. High surprise plus high personalization equals peak emotional experience. The role of emotional labor in gift giving. Let's get into it. I have done an episode on what is cognitive labor. Oh crap, I need to write that down. I got to do emotional labor as well, because cognitive labor, different from emotional labor. They do overlap, but we'll get into it later. Psychologist Dr. Julia Fitness coined the term gift-giving emotional labor to describe the mental effort involved in choosing meaningful presents. This includes observing the recipient's preferences, remembering past conversations, and imagining their reaction. When recipients recognize this emotional labor, it creates what researchers call felt understanding, the sense that someone truly gets them. This feeling is more valuable than the monetary cost of the gift and creates lasting positive associations with the giver. Sorry, I'm emotional. It's the holidays, guys. And oh my gosh, my parents always did that thing of where, you know, you ask for something and they just never get it. And then they're always like, you're just ungrateful. And it's not ungrateful. It's like, I don't have any use for this, or I don't understand why you would get me this. I don't. Anyway, it's like they, I don't know. I'm going to do a little sidebar. My mom keeps asking me if I'm going to visit for the holidays, but she never does this thing where like she comes to visit me and she's like, I'm sorry, this is so depressing. She's like always like trying to make me travel somewhere. And I was like, you know, you guys could, I guess, visit LA if you wanted to. Oh, I don't like LA. And the thing is what fucking sucks about that is that I moved around a lot for you guys. I left everything behind and always went to places I never wanted to go. Whether it be quote unquote vacations or physical locations to move, I always went with you. Oh, but Sarah, you were a child. Yeah, but I don't know. Something about like your parents like not making the effort when your entire life has been the effort to follow them wherever they go, and just like, oh, I don't like it. Well, I don't like a lot of stuff. And they're like, why don't you want to have a relationship with us? I don't know. It's a mystery to me. You guys are a doctor and a fucking engineer. Put your heads together and you'll figure out something. So the memory formation process, I'm so sorry. Please know that I'm not going to be like sad all day. I just like was reading and then I'll cheer up, and the holidays will be fine. And this is supposed to be cheerful. I'm sorry. The memory formation process. Great gifts don't just create momentary joy. They form lasting memories through a process called elaborative encoding. When a gift experience involves multiple senses, emotions, and surprise elements, it gets encoded more richly in memory. This is why unboxing experiences matter so much. The visual, tactile, and emotional elements of discovering personalized items create what memory researchers call flashbulb moments, vivid recollections that remain clear years later. Yeah, it's very salient, the more senses that you add. Cultural psychology and gift expectations. Different cultures have varying expectations around gift giving, but one universal truth emerges. Gifts that demonstrate genuine effort and understanding transcend cultural boundaries. The key is moving beyond generic cultural assumptions to individual personalization. For examples, while flowers might be culturally expected for Mother's Day, a curated collection of items related to her specific hobbies, dreams, or recent interests shows deeper thoughtfulness and creates stronger emotional impact. The reciprocity principle in action. Thoughtful gifts trigger what psychologist Robert Cialdini calls the reciprocity principle, but not in a transactional way. So, answering the previous person's question about altruism, when someone receives a gift that clearly required emotional investment, they feel motivated to reciprocate with deeper emotional connection and appreciation. And people are going to use reciprocity and transactional interchangeably. Guys, words have meanings. Just because they're close doesn't mean there's a cigar. This creates positive feedback loops in relationships. The giver feels appreciated, the receiver feels understood, and both parties become more attuned to each other's needs and preferences over time. This is I don't want to be parasocial, but every time you guys give me feedback or book recommendations or resources, or someone in the comments has a question and someone it answers for me and they're like being genuine, or like. I feel like it fuels this process. Like, I feel like a lot of people in academia give up because no one believes in them or everyone shoots them down. And that is, I only say I believe that I can pretty much know it to be true because I've read enough stuff. However, I'm not in academia, but it's just because everyone's like, no, 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 no. And the thing is you get it. I've made a million episodes on it. Practical applications for better gift giving. Understanding the psychology behind gift giving leads to practical strategies. Focus on the story behind each item rather than its cost. Include variety to create multiple surprise scenarios. Reference specific conversations or observations. Consider the full sensory experience of receiving the gift. Think about the recipient's current life phase and goals. The most psychologically powerful gifts aren't about perfection, they're about genuine connection. When we give gifts that show we've been paying attention, we're offering something far more valuable than money can buy, the gift of being truly seen and understood. Yes, it's, It's just if you don't have anything to give this holiday season, or you're strapped on, like you're tight on cash, just like genuine conversations with people who are not in a compromising position. Don't like try to, attempt a really long, genuine conversation with someone like, working. And then now they're like, okay, this is so nice, but also like, it's the holiday season and I'm kind of stressed. Like you gotta like the time and place. But if just a nice conversation with someone, you'd be surprised. Yeah. Reference specific conversations or observation. This is just like being truly seen and understood. Something that I like to do. I know that the New Year's also coming up, and something I've made an effort to do this year was anytime someone tells me like a book recommendation or something I should look into or an event I'd like, and we're in person. I do this all the time. I have like a entire folder on my phone with like tens of thousands of screenshots that people have recommended to me. But every time I'm in person, I make a visible attempt to write down exactly what they're saying to me in my notes app. And I make sure I spelled everything correctly, and I show them that I wrote it down, because I want people to realize what they said was noteworthy. Like it was, I'm sorry, I'm emotional. Like it was worth remembering. I'm sorry. Ugh. emotional. You guys are here for the sciences. It's just so many people like think that they're not good enough to just fucking, I don't know. I have an entire episode also planned on the concept of good enough. You feel like you're never good enough. And the thing is if you were to sandwich, like your parents are always making you believe like you're not good enough. If you were to sandwich that thing between abstract morality and concrete morality, between math and the legal system, right? Like, I'm never good enough. You can't prove a universal negative unless it's in purely the mathematical abstract realm. Yes, you can. The thing is when you tell your child you'll never be good enough, you're saying they're always bad in every single scenario. And I know that that's not true because that's literally impossible. But the thing is if you label your kid always bad or never good enough, you're speaking purely abstractly. The only realm in which that would make sense is math. Or if you had like billions of dollars to test every single variation, like experimentation. But the thing is what that means is that you're thinking of your child as an abstract concept. You're judging just the idea of your kid. And you're saying the idea of my kid is completely wrong. Your kid is real. They're alive. They're in front of you. You can hug them. You can touch them. They have blood in their veins. And you're just evaluating them as a concept. And the thing is like, if you were to just go down to like just morality on the grounded level, right? You enter into the realm of law. It's like, you can prove a negative with an alibi. I wasn't there. And so a lot of kids, like, if you're like, oh, but when I was there when my parents were telling me I was doing all this bad stuff. But it's like, were you emotionally there? Emotional state is a location, right? Theirs and yours, right? If you're defending yourself, if you're in fight or flight, if you're like, there's an actual power difference. Even if your parents were weak, right? In the most literal sense, there is a power discrepancy. You're not on the same plane of like power and ability. You're not in the same power plane. You're not in the same internal emotional state. You're most likely acting out of fear if there's a coercion like that's been present. So like you have an alibi. I wasn't in the same place as them, the same level of understanding, the same power, the same, like sure, yes, you may have done stuff wrong, right? You may have like accidentally stolen from CVS. We've done it. We've all done it. But the thing is we just like, parents really stack the odds against their kids. And it's so not fair. Like I was, I don't know if I told you guys this, what genuinely healed me. Well, it pissed me off, but it like healed something in me. Just reading how much researchers and people in medicine specifically, every field has their issues. I'm not saying that every field is bad, but they have their issues. I was reading a bunch of things in medicine and none of the people were talking, right? No one communicated these certain things. And I realized, oh my God, my mom's a doctor. This is her culture, the culture of medicine. No one communicates, right? So what healed me in that moment was realizing that her not communicating with me, her not wanting to genuinely connect with me or establish genuine understanding, prioritizing withholding information, it wasn't personal. It was her culture, the culture of medicine. So that did heal me. We do need to fix that. So there's like a silver lining to all these sort of heartbreaks. Anywho, we're going to get into the gifts. And you're like, this is the time. This is the season of giving. I will say a lot of them are books. I'm going to link them all below. But Scientific American, I still love you even after that. But there's, the best in nonfiction. They do also have a best in fiction, which I will be including because fiction is important, especially if you're like a fiction reader and you're trying to pivot to nonfiction. Memoirs are a great entry point because real life is stranger than fiction. And so when someone's talking about like their life, like memoirs can get very strange. And if you're like, I need a plot, memoirs, but they're nonfiction. Also, sort of like sci-fi or anything like that there's a scientific element. Make sure you like kind of check who wrote it. Like if they're like, they don't know anything about science, you can do a little like, okay, they have a background in the area they're talking about, then it's going to get more sciencey. It's just a nice transition point. But I will include the fiction books. There's Scientific American did Best Nonfiction of 2025, Empire of AI, Is River Alive? This is about like environment and history. Replaceable You. I want to pick this up because it said the tags are medical science and humor. Roach has knocked it out of the park again. We follow her around the globe as she sniffs out the most curious, novel, and extraordinary science happenings in the amorphous field of human augmentation. In just the tip of the iceberg of her many adventures in this slim book, she interviews people who have elected to have their limbs removed, meets scientists studying pig organs, and spends some time in an iron lung just to see what it feels like. Roach's writing is on full display on these pages. She's brilliant, but also approachable and funny. A dream dinner guest in your pocket. There's also John Green's book, Everything is Tuberculosis, which is on medical science and history. The book, The Feather Detective, True Crime, Bird Books. What? True crime, but birds? Get into it. In 1960, a commercial flight taking off from Boston Logan International Airport ran into a flock of birds and nosedived into nearby Winthrop Bay. Oh, I'm going to tone down, killing 62 of the 72 people on board. Investigators sent bird remains embedded in the wreckage to the Smithsonian Institute in what became the first forensic case for Roxy Laybourne, a then up-and-coming taxidermist at the Institute and the wonderful protagonist of this compelling novel-like account. Journalist Chris Sweeney traces Laybourne's rise to become a legendary forensic ornithologist, one who in her career would identify the remains of more than 10,000 airplane-struck birds. This is for everyone, technology and history, human nature. There's a whole bunch of books. I also am going to include the Scientific American's favorite books of 2025. And just for y'all, I'm going to make a comprehensive list of every book I've read this year because you guys keep asking. I am going to right off the bat recommend Your Brain on Art by Susan Magsamen, and then What We Value, The Neuroscience of Choice and Change by Emily Falk, and a couple more, but that's going to be long. So you don't have to read all of them. You trust me, you don't. But you guys always ask for a comprehensive list, so I will do that. There's also gifts for every kind of nerd, like card sleeves, deck cases, a bag of dice, D&D drink book. Ooh, guys, I'm finally trying out D&D in January. I got invited to a D&D sort of game, and I will be doing role playing. And I love that because I think I can come up with some fantasy elements. I mean, hopefully the gang is all pretty comfortable with more erotic homosexual elements to obviously my character, and obviously I won't harass any of the other characters. I'm not sure, harassment exists in all realms, even play. So I'm just gonna keep it. I was gonna say keep it tight. Keep it to me. There's also a gaming pillow and other stuff. But another fun thing, just for like customization, if you're like, oh, I'm more tight on cash, do wire, organizing someone's wires for their like computer, right? Or cable management. That would just be a fun thing to do because I mean, it's just something small and it's like, oh, I thought of you, like a cable management system. There's also a Steam gift card. And there's also, oh my gosh, since I love the arts and crafts, there's something called Craft Club. And you can make like a moss coaster kit, like garden friends, a rose bush. And you basically like make these coasters and you just like put them together yourself. It's fun because I know crafting, a lot of people want to get into it, but they're like, oh, I don't even know where to start. They also have like a needlepoint pouch kit. So you can like, if you're thinking about getting into like textiles or, sewing and all this stuff, this is a fun website. Check it out. I would definitely, again, this is not sponsored. I just freaking love Craft Club like stuff. This is also, since we were talking about customizable stuff, custom stained glass. You can get like a portrait done in stained glass. And something that I did in my house is I have like this thing that I mounted to the ceiling and it has like wires hanging down. And at the end of each wire, I put like glass hummingbird ornaments, and it looks like they're flying around. And so I'm not saying that you should do that for your stained glass, but like if there's like a way to hang it in front of, like kind of just ever so slightly in front of a window, and then it's just like when the light hits it, whenever the sun goes down, you just have like this part of like stained glass, and it's just probably might be really nice for your home. Ooh, also something fun, since we're talking about customizable, custom vinyl records. You can get a record pressed with like someone's face, or like you as a couple, and you can do like all your favorite songs. And it's just like it does like the sleeve as well. And I know a lot of people have those like now playing sort of things that hang on their wall, and they put the vinyl of their choosing. I think it would be cool to get like a custom vinyl of for someone that you love, and like all their favorite songs. And it's just like so cute and small. Also, fun fact, if you love everyone who loves Canva already knows this, but they're doing magazines, like print magazines, for like $15 to like $25. So you can like make a magazine for someone, or like all their best moments over the year. I know that I dip my toes in heterosexual culture from time to time, but I noticed that there's a lot of women especially talking about how they're not really celebrated other than when they get married or have kids. And so it's just a fun thing to do, especially for people who've had major accomplishments or even just progress in their life, to say that you see it, right? I see all you've done. Just something small and thoughtful. Oh my God. But I had to also recommend this one to y'all. I pitched this a long time ago, and finally, well, Lego has been doing this, but you can make your own minifigures with Lego, and you can make someone like someone else. I got these like tiny little figurine cases for people who collect figurines, and then I put like my little Lego people in them, and it's just a fun way. Like, if they're pretty affordable, you can just customize it. Look, this is you, and then put like a little dog, or like if they like arts and crafts, you can put like all the crafts around their Lego person, and then like put them in a little mini figurine box, and probably do like a little Lego piece that's like a name tag, and kind of just wrap it nicely, and just all your friends get little Lego mini versions of themselves in a cute little way that they can display it. Ugh, so perfect. Then I also did, there's like a Fibonacci wall and desk clock, because you gotta, for the big nerd in your life. There's also some gifts for math lovers. And I just love going through this, giving you guys, a wooden brain teaser puzzle, a Sphero bolt coding robot. And then there's like different coding starter kits for kids. You could also, as an adult, just do a coding starter kit. Why not? But yeah, there's a bunch of like math related games in here, which I thought was really cute. And then educational subscription boxes for kids. It's wild to me that a lot of you have kids, but it makes sense. I'm 31. I don't know why some of you wouldn't. But there's like creativity and learning with education subscription boxes for kids. Like if you want to just like get them into more tactile learning things, because I do always recommend movement and tactile integration. They were talking about, they were trying to sell subscription boxes with the article that we read previously. But just it's like a gift. The gift that keeps on giving. It's surprising, right? Kids can play around with stuff. There's, the preschool box. They have sensory theraplay box. Girls can create a toolkit for future world changers, and introducing them to world changing women and STEAM fun. Ooh, they're big lovers of STEAM. And this box is affordable. I was like, did they jack up the price because it's girls? No, it's $29. Most of them are $32. We gotta win. Girls. Beautiful discovery box. There's a forensic kit. And then upstairs, Circus DIY kit club. Interesting. But yeah, and then there's STEM build boxes. Well, the thing is I love saying STEAM. However, STEAM is also it's like a program, I guess, or like for like games. So it's like, oh, I love STEAM. People are like, what? And I'm like, oh, we're on the same. I understand. There's a miscommunication. But yeah, there's Crunch Labs, Tinkering Labs, KiwiCo Labs, Mel STEM. So I'm gonna include these, and they're like different, builds that you can do if your kid wants to get into robotics, or you want to get your kid into robotics just to say that you tried. That's so valid. Just trying. Um, Ooh, this is also how we can get customizable. Now, I will say to you guys, I'm a huge lover of Lego. I have an entire room in my house, my apartment, dedicated to Lego. Actually, it's my office. There's so much stuff in there. But I have so many Lego sets, and there's something called Light My Bricks where you can buy lighting for different Lego sets. And so, like, if you made, the museum Lego set, they have like a lighting kit to light up the entire museum. And so you can like flip it on, and it just is so cool. I have an entire village. Well, it's a stacked village. On top is Lord of the Rings. It's so there's like Middle Earth. And then I got this like Viking village beneath it. And then beneath that, I have like a Lego city. And then beneath that is another Lego city. So it's kind of fun. I like to swap my Lego guys around. So like sometimes there'll be like Vikings waiting outside and in line at the coffee shop. And I just think it's so fun. I love changing all my Lego people's outfits because it's like I want to wear something different. But yeah, Lighting Center is so cool. The safe way to add lights to Lego Winter Village. Oh, it's so cool. And then there's also one for the Christmas wreath. So if you get someone like a Christmas wreath Lego set and you're like, oh, what's like something small and fun to put on top of that? Like you can also get the lighting set for the Christmas wreath. I just think it's cute. And you're like, do we need to go through all this? Yes, I'm giving you options. Okay. Anyone who likes the STEAM, right? You like sciences and the arts. Science art, scientific illustrations, artworks, and wall art. They have, and it's by Cognitive Surplus. And when I tell you, these are all the disciplines they have, and it's like anthropology, but for the sciences. They have, oh my God, anthropology, literally. And then astronomy, biology, botany, cardiology, chemistry, computer science, engineering, entomology, genetics, geology and earth science, marine biology, math, medicine, meteorology, microbiology, nutrition science, ornithology, paleontology, pharmacy, physics, psychology, veterinary science. And then they have like these really beautiful prints, like electromagnetic spectra, scientific illustration, museum prints, but it's like beautiful. They have gems and minerals, scientific illustration. They're like $18. They have ocean regions, scientific illustration, museum print, a vascular scientific illustration. They have the solar system. They have poisonous plants, early computers, evolutionary scientific illustrations, anatomical heart, genetics, DNA. What's cool though too is that they also have wallpaper. So a lot of their prints that are like anatomical heart print, just for like a print is great. But if you're like designing a house or you own a house and you can put up wallpaper, they also have wallpaper options of these. And when I tell you, if I could put up wallpaper of this, I would everywhere. You know what I mean? So that's just something else. There's also this place called KiwiCo that does planet bath bombs. So you can do like you make the bath bombs and like you make the planets, and it's cool and it's fun. Yeah. So it's like just add water, planetary fun, fizzy chemistry. So that's going to be cool. And they have like the entire chemistry chemistry clit. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm not well. And then, ooh, this one is also cute. If you're looking for something custom, and I know a lot of you are gay. This is not gay specific. Straight people, obviously you're included. So there's this thing, custom star map for special nights, jewelry and art. So like, you can choose obviously like the night you guys met or like someone's birthday. But what is a fun option with this is they also have a locket. So you can get like a custom like star map of like when you guys met or, their birthday. And then inside you can put like a picture of you guys. And it's just cool. It's such a cute thing. And there's also like, there's like a library checkout card bookmark. And then there's also this was something that I'm going to get for myself. Or Butch Bay, if you're listening, a custom book embosser from Etsy where you can put like your own, your own sort of stamp on things on your books. And it's like your initials or like from the library of, and then I'd put like Sarah Schauer, and it like stamps like an impression on the book pages. And I just think that's really nice because I know a lot of you follow me for book content. And so there's also, for my English majors, anyone who loves literature, this Etsy page has a Jane Eyre embroidery kit. There's like embroidery kits from like every single major like literary person. Wait, let me, you're like Jane Eyre, but, where are you? I'm trying to find the other people that they have. Pride and Prejudice. Sorry, it's like going through. You're like, is that it? No, there's so many other literary embroidery, just other kits that you can do. More related searches: Bronte, Jane Austen, Townhouse, Oscar Wilde, Bridgerton. Yeah, a bunch of other stuff. So you can like, it's if you want to get into embroidery or like a fun little thing, and it's just cute because you can like do a little quote and then have it hanging on the wall. I have 2 things that are embroidered on my wall right now in my living room because I have this wall mural. One is all guests must be accepted by Dopey, and it's Dopey is my son, my big fat son. I have 2 cats. Did you guys know that? I have Dopey and Miss Jeej, but I call him Dumpatron, and he's 13, and he's a big guy. But his mom was half a ragamuffin, so he's meant to be big. And he's so sweet. And then I have Miss Jeej. She was the cat that lived outside last year underneath my apartment, and I was trying to find her an adoption agency to drop her off at or something because she was pregnant, and I was like, oh my God. And it was I called this shelter, and they were like, if you bring her in, like she started to give birth. And I was like, oh shit. Like I literally was on the phone and she was like starting to give birth. Like one of her children dropped out, and they were like, I mean, the thing is we would recommend bringing her inside. You could bring her here, but there's just so many cats. We'd probably have to put all of them down. And I was like, okay, so you've just given me a trolley problem right here. So my options are adopt 5 cats simultaneously, because she had 4 kids, or kill 5 cats simultaneously. Oh my God. Like I literally was like, this is an ethical dilemma. I never thought like, and so I adopted 5 cats, and then all 4 of her children got adopted out. And so Miss Jeej, she's like she's so sassy. She's so like, she's like, what are you guys doing? Like, hey, like, what's up, bitches? Like, that's what she sounds like in my head. Like, and so it's just kind of funny because Dopey's like slow and old, and then she's like, dump, like, stop bothering me. But like, seriously, snuggle me. Like, it's just like, that's my cats in my head. Oh, and then the other embroidery thing I have is I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue. And that's an Airplane quote, which is a movie. And so it's just something funny I always say. Because I mean, I'm an alcoholic. So like, there's something so funny about sobriety humor, you know? And so it's like, I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue. That's like me every time I try to quit cigarettes. I picked always the wrong week. But anyway, this has been my holiday rant episode. Be generous. And the thing is generosity does not always mean spend a boatload of money. It's just truly the thought, the effort, the time that counts. That's rewarding. Everything will be linked below, the resources, and also where you can buy all this stuff. And also just get inspired. You don't have to buy any of this stuff. You could literally just use it as a jumping off point. The entire like how to be more creative series. Just look at what's happening here and being like, I like that. I might get that, or I like that. Let me do something else more custom. Thank you all for listening to this. Sorry about my tears earlier. I don't know what that was, but this has been Shower Thoughts. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Rate me 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any place you get your podcasts. And my book club for this one will be wrapping up by the time this one goes out. Actually, we go into like early January, but I will be starting a 3rd one after that. I've yet to choose the book, but again, you can subscribe to my Patreon and like watch past book club like episodes, because all the episodes are recorded. Also, if you want to learn how I annotate books, you can also subscribe to my Patreon and just watch everything back, and it'll give you like a step-by-step of how I read and learn. But thank you all so much for listening. I hope you have a jolly, holly, merry, you do happy holidays. I'm gonna, make it happy holidays. It doesn't have to be Christmas, but I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.